The stars, the shadows go see. Galactic wars, empires crumble within. Echoes of power.
Have you guys ever been drunk in a bar with your friends, only to wake up the next day, magically recruited from the mysterious recruiter who had been sitting in the back corner of the bar without you even noticing? Only for after you go through all of the fun processes, basic training, and your MOS school, to get stuck out in some random third world country where there are a bunch of people trying to kill you. That's the premises of the 1st Army, and although the 1st Army Division is very much one of the more notable divisions within the Republic, and later the Empire, they are still rather simple in some manners and overcomplicated in others. The simplicity comes from how they operate. They do what needs to be done, no questions asked. Well, sometimes questions asked. But a lot of the time, if you give them an objective, they will go about the easiest way to get it done. And I'm not talking about just bombarding the enemy out of existence or sitting in a trench 5 miles away from the objective just to block off their logistics. They go in, they do what's quick and simple. The complexity itself comes from the way the division is structured. The division is made up of 6 regiments. 2 being infantry regiments made up of 4 infantry battalions, the next 2 regiments being made up of 3 mechanized battalions, supported by 2 tank battalions. 5th regiment is made up of 3 air assault battalions. The final regiment is a motorized regiment made up of 4 motorized battalions. Finally, the division is supported by 3 small battalions that aren't necessarily organized into an official regiment, this being a logistical battalion, mortar battalion, and command battalion. Now, originally, the 1st Division wasn't actually a part of the Republic. It was the 35th Division for the Michelin Empire. Hence, the joke about getting stuck in a third world country, as at this point, the Alexandric Republic didn't exist. Or at least not officially, they still had yet to take their capital world, Remnant. Despite failed attempts to do it diplomatically, and the desire not to end up into a full-blown war with an entire planet, it ended up happening anyways, with the main aggressor being Atlas. Atlas was extremely opposed to a Republic control over Remnant. However, it ended up happening anyways, with a small war only being about 3 months. After securing Remnant for the Republic, they moved on to Camino. This is where the 1st Division began to see some serious changes, not due to an inefficiency, however, it was due to the desire to incorporate more groups, diversify the army. With Camino secure, the Caminoans paid to create a clone army, or rather, begin production of said clone army. The Alexandric Republic now had a surplus of recruits. Whether they were born to fight or not was besides the point in the grand scheme of things. The introduction of the clone troopers to the 1st Division was rough, with many army troopers seeing the clones as unfit attempts for replacement and cannon fodder. Obviously, this did not sit well with the clones. It wasn't long before infighting began, clones and army troopers constantly arguing or getting into fistfights, which made it all the more headache for HR, who was already hesitant about implementing these new clone troopers. But even then, at the time, they didn't have much of a choice. By the time the home sector had been secure, the Atlantic Union was already on its last legs. Beaten down from the Hellenic constant assaults, this left the 1st Division at a crossroad. They could either shrink down their size and create multiple divisions to attempt to spread the front out, although at the cost of manpower and even more equipment, plus even bigger headaches for logistics, or they could simply begin training the next generation, and that's exactly what they did. The 1st Division was the direct parent division of the 2nd Division.